Good evening and warm welcome to all the participants. We welcome you on this Friday once again at 4 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a very interesting discussion this evening. We will be joined by our esteemed speaker very soon. And I request all of you to make note of your questions so that we have a very interesting interactive session when we come to Q&A. Yeah, please join me in welcoming Madam Sridevi Edupuganti. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Thank you. Namaste, Prasad ji.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'll take a couple of minutes to introduce you and then hand it over back to you for your opening remarks. Allow me to share my screen, please. So these are WiseViews Leadership Conversations, and we have reached session number 191 today. And we are very happy to host you, ma'am, and host all the members who are present around the screen this evening. We are going to talk about pragmatic well-being, your daily path to preventive healthcare, and this is going to be led by Miss Sridevi, and she happens to be a very, very strong techie person, but this is probably closer to her heart, and and that's how the whole session is going to be more interesting, and we are all waiting for that to unfold. So this introduction and opening remarks will be for about 25 minutes or so. After that, we'll have 40 minutes of Q&A. I take this opportunity to make this brief introduction. The profile is actually very big. Ms. Sridevi is a business and technology leader with more than 25 years of multidisciplinary experience. She handled teams to empower customers, digitally transform businesses, and scale customer experiences through emerging technologies. Although it is said in a very simple language, this means quite a bit. A responsibility spanning across teams, companies, geographies, and technologies is something very, very big. And I'm not going to read out every word, but this is a very interesting profile. Over 20 years of experience he has in DB and cloud technologies, Visa, that is like through AWS and Azure, and in OPT, Operations, People, and Technology. She directed a team of over 100 professionals to deliver cloud solutions, optimizing costs, mitigating risks, and adhering to schedules, which led to a 25% year-on-year improvement in project efficiency. She multiplied customer footprint through timely deliveries, ensuring enhanced customer success, augmented revenues by winning multi-million dollar deals for the organizations. I'm sure she held these responsibilities very well for so many years. She has multiple achievements as well. Some of them I mentioned here. She was recognized with the Best People Manager Award for 3 years among 4,000 plus employees, bagged Star Award for Associates Professional Excellence across entire circle level, that is 3,000 plus employees. Likewise, she was conferred with the Roll of Honor Award for showcasing excellent mentoring skills, acknowledged as star performer for 6 years for exemplary performance at Tech Mahindra. She was panel of jury and chief guest at various college events, including that of Nalsar Law College. She participated in Microsoft AI Skill Fest, Startup Runway event, AI Fest Code Basics, so on and so forth, an event at T-Hub as well. As far as her education is concerned, she holds an executive leadership program from ISB, Indian School of Business, and MSc from Usmania University, Hyderabad. That's a fantastic profile. Thank you very much, ma'am, for sparing your time to speak with us on this platform. Thank you and welcome once again. I will also introduce my esteemed colleague, Dr. R. Prasad. He is the Senior Director at Academic Wing in ICFAI Group. He brings 3 decades of rich experience as an entrepreneur, as a corporate professional, and as an academic now at ICFAI. He is the one who handled one of the biggest big scale projects in ICFAI. If ICFAI is known for scale, one of the biggest scale projects was handled by Dr. Prasad. He holds BTech from IIT Bombay and PGDM from IIM Kolkata. Welcome, Dr. Prasad. Thank you so much for joining. We are all set to hear, ma'am. This is, as I mentioned in the beginning also, there are multiple confusions. There are multiple options and therefore multiple confusions. We are suffering from overdose of information on wellness and well-being. In our present day jobs and schedules and challenges in life, we are either not able to allocate time for well-being, nor or sometimes we do not understand what well-being is all about. We kind of are in a drift, so we need clarity on all these aspects. Somebody who has been in the busy lanes of work and also managing home extremely well. I think you'll be the right person to tell us what this pragmatic well-being is all about. It's a new concept, very interesting and attractive phrasing that we have, but I think it has got a lot of sense for our daily lives. All set to hear you, ma'am. Thank you once again. Over to you.
Thank you very much. That was a fantastic introduction. Thank you for having me. Great to interact with Prasad, Dr. Prasad as well today. And thank you all the participants for joining, that to taking out your precious time on Friday evening. So I'm much obliged. So yes, well-being is always has been my passion. And let me share my screen before we start. So you can see a smile on my face, right? Because these topics are coming from my heart. It's not reading from some book and just giving a lecture, right? So whatever are the biohacks that I have been implementing on myself, eventually have been converted into evidence-based facts. And that's when I'm able to address various wellness topics in front of you. I'm going to share so many topics in front of you, which are all evidence based. So last week, or last week, when Sudhakar and myself, we discussed on few topics, and Sudhakar brought in that this topic should be picked up first and then the other topics. And so that shows the importance of how much it is, the well-being is across the world, right? So I'm neither a doctor nor a nutritionist, yet I'm the architect of my true well being. So I'm extremely happy and delighted to share my experiences with you all, right? Let's start off with a dress code, right? All of us enjoy, or all of us prefer to get dressed up very well every day, every function, right? So if we keep this acronym in our mind, definitely we keep thinking periodically on to what all the things that we need to focus on mindfully. We need to invest time mindfully, right? So diet, relations, exercise, sleep, and stress. I can talk for hours together, days together on all these in this dress code. But in today's session, considering the time, I will be touch basing mainly on diet and exercise, and a little bit on other aspects. But feel free to ask me any questions towards the end. Okay, so now this well-being is being a word that has been used by so many people, by so many in so many occasions. Even these well-being discussions often happen in along with my friends group, and they keep asking me, Sridevi, won't you get bored of having ABC juice every day? Are you not bored of having egg or fish every day? Then to them, my response is, are you not bored of brushing your teeth every day? Not bored of taking bath every day? So there's always laughs among us. So the point here I'm trying to bring in is that if we don't look the well-being as a different aspect or a separate aspect, rather we see it as an integral part of our daily routine, then it won't, I mean, we definitely find time for this various well-being experiments and also implementing best practices in our lives. Okay, so it's been 15 years since I have been taken sick leaves. At the same time, there were few experiences that I have also had, I would like to share with you with regard to a weight gain that that happened in the year 2023 and 24, 2022, 23. And the ramification, or it got manifested to an extent that it got increased to, I mean, I put on more than 10, 15 kgs of weight. And all because of having the food in the cafeteria for the entire 1.5 years, thinking that anyways in the evening I'll be having fruits, vegetables, salad, good protein diet. So this should not cause any harm to me. But by the time I realized that a lot of inflammation has been developed in my body, which led to even the rash in the, hives or rash, we call it as urticaria. So that was a time where I realized how much is my CRP levels in the body, which is supposed to be less than 3, but it got increased to 60. At the same time, because of the inflammation, I had put on weight. So that was, I mean, very, very turbulence period in 24, 23 especially. But with the evidence-based best practices, wellness best practices, I could overcome, and I have reduced to 60 kgs. So this is something which, one experience which I would like to share it with you as well. So there's absolutely no doubt that nutrition plays a major role in the well-being. Absolutely no doubt. If you say 80 and remaining 30%, 20 to 30% is exercise, but overlapping all these two is a sleep and stress that we cannot ignore. So usually those who are working, and we usually start off our day and we start chasing on what things to cook and all that stuff. But it's a good practice to really plan our day a night before. So my morning starts the night before. And there are 5 fundamental thumb rules which I would like to share it with you, no matter where I go, no matter if I'm traveling across within India or abroad. I will not leave these 5 thumb rules. Okay. Because these are very essential and foundation stones for the well-being. Number 1 is, when we have food, we need to ensure that it has to have high fiber, high protein, and low carbohydrates. It's not for the sake of filling our stomach, but we need to be mindful of having, okay, am I having enough protein in my diet? Am I having enough fiber in my diet? Or am I taking more carbohydrates and less protein? So we need to be very mindful in the food that we take. Second, consuming 3 liters of water. I mean, that is something, a self-discipline, and people often forget when they get into work, but this has a very, very long-lasting impact if we don't drink enough water. Number 3 is exposing to sunlight. I make it a point, at least 10 to 15 minutes I get exposed to sunlight, because of which, the vitamin D is very important, which plays crucial role in carrying various hormones, chemicals across inside our body, right? And the 4th and 5th is exercise. 30 to 45 minutes is a rigorous exercise, where in that exercise itself, I burn out around 500, 550 calories. And there itself, in 50 minutes, around 6 to 7,000 steps. So that rigorous exercise is something which is magical, right? This is 4th. And 5th one is keeping the stress levels as minimal as possible. Because I always, if someone says something, because in the office, we see a lot of office politics, or not everybody are aligned with our mindset. Often people get annoyed, often people get worried for small things. Always, I have one statement which I've read in one book, saying that when your purpose is beyond pain, nothing else matters. So when you know that this is what is your purpose, and beyond pain, if anybody says anything and all, but that should not matter at all. So that's something, these are 5 things which I predominantly do it. But remaining stuff is intermittent fasting is extremely powerful, especially when you are in a process of weight loss, or when you want to correct yourself, come out of the anti-inflammation or any of the chronic illnesses and all. This intermittent fasting is extremely important. So these are, though I have listed 12, but these are top 5, 6 things that I would honestly believe that everybody should follow, no matter what. And sometimes we need to motivate ourselves, right? Because there won't be anybody who sits next to us to keep motivating us. So I keep motivating myself by going through some of these very wise words, if you see here. So always I say, first things first. Even if I try to get distracted to some other entertainment, I would ask myself, have I done all the other things which are important to myself? And then I can carve out time for other things, right? First things first is always. So sometimes you may see me not being online on WhatsApp or LinkedIn or anything till 9 o'clock also in the morning, or 8, 9, because I go to gym in the morning every day. That's my first thing first. I have chia seeds water every day in the morning. That's the first thing first. I'll be thinking of what all I need to do previous night, but also on that night, and doing some meditation. So those are first things first. And then second, when you can't measure, you cannot manage. It holds good even at a workplace and also personal life, right? Especially when you are in well-being journey, you need to be mindful of what's your weight, and what should be your weight, and what's your weight currently. How many calories you're supposed to take, but how many calories you are taking. Is there any tracking system that you are having? Because now it is tech world, right? Everywhere there are MyFitnessPal app or HealthyFi app. You download anything and you can measure how many calories you are having and what kind of life you're leading. Is it a sedentary life, or 1 to 3 times workout and all that? And I would say this is extremely important. You need to measure your metrics, reports. Again, going for annual health checks. And I usually go quarterly also for 5 or 6 health checks, right? Which are fundamental for us to really think of, which otherwise would manifest to chronic diseases. And health is more than wealth. People say health is wealth, but I would say health is more than wealth. And enable and empower with health nuggets every now and then, right? So that's when we keep moving on and try to inculcate all the best practices on daily basis. Okay, so now these next 2 3 slides are extremely important and interesting because I have been saying that high fiber, high protein, low carb diet. That's a very generic statement, right? How do I measure whether I'm having enough protein or fiber and all? So nuts, seeds have the greatest power of boosting your immune system. And in overall, all the internal organs, if you see, right, be it liver, kidney, lungs, pancreas, any of the organs you see, heart, brain, skin, blood, muscles, bones, any of the organs, you have all the required nutrients of from these nuts. There are various nuts, right? You see Brazil nuts, pecan nuts, walnuts, then cashew nuts, pista, and there are some seeds also here, right? Pumpkin seeds, then sunflower seeds, watermelon seeds. Then you have dry fruits, right? Anjeer, prunes, dates, raisins. So you soak them all, and of course you have flax seeds and chia seeds. So what I do is that a previous night I soak all of them in a quantity that is ideal for me and my family. Everybody drinks this, and then in the morning, I will use the mix and match of all the vegetables, right? Vegetables and fruits. That's why I have put 2 pictures here. So on one day, I may have papaya and pomegranate, and on the other day, I may have papaya and watermelon, maybe avocado, maybe strawberries, all as many fruits as possible, little quantities, blueberries, strawberries. And must and should is that Karela, bitter gourd, ginger, and amla, because these are citrus. The amla is high in C vitamin, so it's very much essential for to boost up our immune system. So once we have all these things, blend it in the mixer grinder, and you'll have a very tasty dry fruit shake, which is mixed with all these vegetables and fruits, which have so many nutritional values and phytochemicals. They have a lot of antioxidants. If you see this, avocado has a lot of antioxidants. And if you see this dondakai, in Telugu we call ivy gourd in English, this is the major vegetable that helped me in overcoming inflammation, right? This ivy gourd, dondakai. All right. So you pick and choose whatever vegetables, fruits you want, soak them previous night, and then blend it, and you'll have fantastic, tasty, and healthy drink. And also, along with this, high fiber, right? Whether you are having enough vegetables or sprouts and all, and high protein is whether you're having animal protein or plant protein, but be mindful of having protein in your diet. And chia seeds water, it's a very good drink for gut health. And I have every day grated coconut because that is a skin food and anti-aging food. So this is part and parcel of my diet. Everyday coconut, grated coconut. So these are magical drinks and magical breakfast which I have every day. One is the ABC juice, which is nothing but apple, carrot, beetroot. ABC, right? Apple, beetroot, carrot, because this is a detox drink and it is considered as anti-cancer drink. I do not want to get into a chronic illness of cancer and then spend my money, energy, my entire life chasing behind the doctors and getting into chemotherapy. I know the pain of it because of my father who has underwent that. So every day taking this ABC juice will help in minimizing the risk of cancer, because beetroot has a very innate nitrite, which gets converted into nitrate, and which further gets converted into nitric oxide in the bloodstream, which is a powerful neurotransmitter, which improves the blood flow and flushes off the toxins. And then this dry fruit, whatever I have shown you previously, right? The dry fruits, which is mixed with veg and fruit shake. This is overall health drink. As I mentioned, this has all the nutrients required for all the organs of our body. And this chia seeds mixed with ginger juice and lemon juice is fantastic for anybody who is suffering from constipation or gut issues, acidity, gut issues, and all that. It strengthens the gut and it will not allow any leaky gut syndrome. Right. So the soaked chia seeds, because in the previous slide, I showed you, right? Usually I soak it previous night and next day morning I put some warm water and mix some ginger juice and honey. So this is for the gut health. And then last but not the least, grated coconut. It is a solid food that I have in the morning. So if you can see this, improves gut health, sustained energy, weight loss, stronger immune system, and healthier for skin and hair. And all these things, if you see this, I put a star, and all these are anti-aging foods. So if you want to prevent wrinkles, acne, all those things, and always feel young and energetic, 16 plus, these are the foods that definitely help you. You can try them out. And I said 40% of nutrients I get through this breakfast. And then coming to regular meals, lunch and dinner. So again, as I said, mindful, we need to be mindful of protein, salad, because a lot of people, they don't have keras, carrots as part of their diet, but this is extremely important to have it before having lunch or dinner. And then I also included broccoli. I'll tell you the reason why. Everyday broccoli in my meal. And even if you see this, this one for dinner, it is everyday mushroom. My next slide will tell about why I have included broccoli and mushroom every day in my meal, right? And as I mentioned that I follow sunrise to sunset, the circadian rhythm, because our insulin hormone is extremely functional only in this, it works as a bell curve, right? So morning 6:37 till evening 6, it functions, and anytime, it's like a state government employee, right? Anytime you call after 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., it might do its work for some time. And if you continue to eat gulab jamun in the night time, if you continue to eat rice in the night time after sunset, it just gives up, saying that enough of OT, overtime, I'm not going to listen to you. Then that's when the sugar, diabetes, BP, all those things, overweight, all those things will factor it. So I make this insulin as my best friend. So I follow its cycle. So we both aligned to that circadian rhythm. Then moving on to the next one. Yeah, this is one wonderful PPT. I think if you are already aware, well and good, but otherwise, broccoli is anti-pollutant, right? It flushes off air pollutants based on the study that they have done. So a very carcinic benzene, it flushes off. This has an innate ability because of the components that it has. That's the main reason, because we all get exposed to air. Flushing of air pollutants is extremely important. And all the cruciferous vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli, but broccoli plays immense role in it. And then mushrooms, why I include it is that sometimes we may not get enough sunlight, right, during winter seasons and all. But having mushrooms will replenish our body with vitamin D. All right. So that's the reason why I wanted to ensure, I always want to ensure that D vitamin is beyond 50 level in my body. And then before we wind up with the last slide, so there are various alternatives that we can very well think of, right? So a lot of people overlook it, like they just go and buy sunflower oil, but it is so dangerous. White sugar is extremely dangerous. White salt is extremely dangerous. Eating tamarind or using tamarind in our curries is not a good idea. So white rice is extremely dangerous. So I have put across some alternatives. Please go through it. Because oil plays a major important role in, because I have experienced, right, because of the inflammation thing, and also coconut oil and olive oil, cold pressed, is recommended, definitely. And drink lots and lots of water. And as I mentioned, exercise 30 to 40 minutes, no excuses. So you don't get what you wish for, but you get what you work for, right? Be stronger than your excuses. So last time I was honored with a medal by CultFit, virtual medal, because of consecutive 40 weeks streak and 81,000 calories burnt out in the dance fitness. So that's like a morning discotheque, right? We dance like crazy, and at the same time we burn the calories and enjoy that time. So these are some of the achievements which on exercise front. As I mentioned that we all have smartwatches, so I measure how many steps I have and all. Now it's no longer a conscious effort of measuring how many calories I have burnt and how many steps. Even now I'm wearing a different watch because I know how many steps are already by 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, so these are some of the content that I wanted to show. And now I would like to present one interesting video which I have shot at my home. These are some interesting other smart hacks. This is one-time setup. Once you do it, you're all set. I hope you are interested to watch it. It's about 5 minutes, so let's play it.
Hey, are you aware of the radiation inside your house? Few years back even I was not aware, but the moment I realized the importance of having a radiation detector, it really made me take right decisions so that the radiation was not that much where I was getting exposed to. Let me show you how. Now this is a radiation detector I have. So all of us know that there is extreme levels of radiation inside our house, especially near the Wi-Fi. You see this? So as and when I keep this radiation detector, you see this, there's a increased levels of radiation which is more than 160, which is worst. So it indicates that we should not spend so much of time in this space, rather walk away. And even if I try to sit here, now I'm very sure that I'm not in the radiation zone. So the lesson learned was that earlier, before using this radiation detector, our Wi-Fi was to this level. Okay, and the moment we realized that the radiation zone is even on the couch, we immediately shifted up, and thereby ensuring that we are not sitting in the radiation zone. The second most important thing is near the showcase area. Right? We all have showpieces and some of the electronic showpieces, but spending too much time here also may not be a good idea. The third point is near the TV point, where we spend a lot of time in watching TV, right? Not a lot of time, but some time watching TV, but it's not safe to watch TV very close to the TV point, right? Because there's so many switch points here. So if you see this, so far here it's good, but let me take it near to the TV, and here you would see there is a radiation zone. So whether it is elders or kids, we need to ensure that they won't spend much time very close to TV point. And the fourth point is near our computer, right? So this is my study table. Okay, so I ensure that I won't be getting in the radiation zone when I operate on my laptop. But the moment I take my radiation detector near to that switch, and I'll just move here. So it's quite safe, but at times we see there is it is in a radiation zone. So ensure that the plug points are not very close to your laptop, and you won't be charging your phone to the laptop, right? So that's a fourth point. Fifth point is, it's extremely common where we charge our phones, and let's see how much radiation we have near this zone. Extreme levels, right? So just imagine that you sleep keeping your phone charged very close to the phone. The entire radiation impact would be on your brain, which ultimately leads to a lot of damage to brain tissues. So I would highly recommend to have this radiation detector at your home, so that you can very well decide what points to be moved, shifted, and where you can have a safe zone of radiation. Hi, another important addition to my lifestyle is acupressure magnetic therapy sandals. I've been using them for more than a decade, and because of these pressure points, this acupressure and the pressure points, there is an increased levels of blood circulation, which directly or indirectly. Machine that I use is the Teens massager. Okay, so this usage of this for more than 10-15 minutes helps in the relaxation of the overall body, which I'm just going to give a brief demo. So I usually stand on this for 15 minutes. So it will have the entire blood circulation from top to bottom, increased levels that helps in the overall body relaxation. Yeah. And one more which I wanted to show it to you is the foot massager. I'll I'll show you the food massager. This especially I found it interesting when before going to bed, or anytime we watch any movies, or anytime we come back with after a stressful day, just having this foot and leg massager helps in relaxing the muscles and helps improving the sleep quality. I recommend them to everybody for better life. Thank you. One of the best decisions of my life is, especially in the kitchenware, is having a AMC cookware. This is a Galaxy set that I have purchased more than a decade, I think in 2012. And since then, I have never looked back to purchase any other thing. The main reasons, three main reasons why I feel this is so kitchen friendly are because it is made up with a very good German 7-layered stainless steel, because of which the nutrients get retained while cooking. And it helps in the steam cooking with a very, very little oil, so that calorie intake will be very, very minimal. So I would highly recommend everybody to use any of the cookware which has very stainless steel. So this is the best choice I have made, when it comes to kitchenware. One more hack, kitchen hack I would like to introduce you is that all of us have this pork box, right, in our kitchens. So we have all these things, but besides this, I also have the other box which is a mix of so many nutritional powders. So if you see this, there is a sesame seeds powder, there is walnut powder, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and watermelon seeds powder. You also have walnut powder, right? So, and flax seeds powder. So because of all these put in this box, it helps me to make use of it after every dish, whether it is a dal or it is a curry. I put all these powders towards the end, and don't heat too much, but just for 5 minutes or 4 minutes, and then I take it off. So in that way, I'll be adding more protein to the curry, which already has other vegetables, but this is an added advantage of increased protein content. Hope you like it. You all see, this is a air purifier which is at our house. So this is primarily used to purify the air, which is so much essential in today's era, because we are not guaranteed on the air quality, either outside or inside our home. But at least inside our home, it is in our control. So if you see, the air quality index is 56 ppm. So within 10 minutes, it will reduce to less than 30. So that's when we can get an assurance that we maintain the good air quality index inside our house premises.
Thank you very much. Yes.
And thank
So hope all
you.
of you have enjoyed this.
Yes.
Any questions or anything, please
Come-
feel free.
We'll come to the questions. There are lots of questions. Thank you so much for making this presentation. You have very passionately put together some of the biohacks that you have done yourself. See, this is a story of somebody who is a busy executive who has figured it out on herself, as opposed to someone who has studied medicine or nutrition or certain other therapies. So this is more relatable, that it is imperative that we all figure it out ourselves, what suits our body, and then try and maintain the healthcare appropriately. So that's the lesson for us. I thought you will present some stats about what are the parameters or metrics of the unhealthy trends that we see around executives, people like us who work in various organizations, what kind of parameters that we ignore, and what are the trends that prevail at this point in time, so to define the problem, and then you would give the solution. But the solution itself is very interesting. You have made it a personal recipe to handle your own health. So in that sense, it's very, very interesting. Very good. Thank you so much for this presentation. We have lots of questions. I
Thank you.
request Dr. Prasad to start cluster 1. I'll come back for the cluster 2. Over to you, Professor Prasad. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rao. Thank you, ma'am, for getting us back to one of the vitals in today's living. I've taken a few points from your background, and I'm trying to see how I can hope to connect it to what you've said. One is on customer experience, because for a country like India, there's so many people who need to buy into this. I mean, they see this on video, but you know how much they do. That is one thing. And the other thing is the scaling aspect. Given the population, given the demographics, given that people can't afford many things, so scaling issues are there. You would have seen all this in your work environment because you'll have people of various types there and you may have noticed it. And therefore, I think you will be in a position to share your experience. And of course, the other aspect is time, putting this into the particular time frame. So I'll have this background when my questions come up, and I'm looking forward to responses on that. More from the purpose of how do you impact others and start making them do this? So let me come to the first question. Healthcare is very costly nowadays, and time is also an issue. So if you look at anticipatory and preventive health practices across different life stages, you have taken your example, but you would have seen the other examples also. How would you suggest that people make it part of their habits, both the anticipatory as well as the preventive health practices? Would you like, for the good of all the audience as well as those who will be seeing this later, people from various economic backgrounds, would you in a position to put that across?
Great. So if I ask everybody or you, what is the best gift in the world that we can give to our family? The first question, if we ask ourselves, is it not health? Health is the biggest and precious gift that we can give to our families, because imagine a world where, just manifest yourself, imagine a world where you're not falling sick. How much time you will be able to save, how much money you will be able to save. More than these two, what is the level of peace of mind you can gain, and the quality of time that you can spend with your near and dear, right? So there's so many advantages of being mindful of these small best practices. For example, see, one thing what I have observed, Dr. Prasad, whenever I was talking, they considered wellness or implementing wellness best practices is a big task. That's why they keep postponing, right? Okay, let me do next year, next month, or because I don't have time. So for what, for if a person doesn't have time for himself or herself, then it's a time for them to introspect. Everything else comes later. We have 24 hours, and if we take away this 8 hours for sleep, we have 16 hours remaining. In these 16 hours, even if we take away 10 hours for work, let's say 10 hours for work, right? We have still 6 hours. So to answer to your question, of course, it takes time to cut the vegetables, cut the fruits, keeping everything handy, ready and all. But why not hire a domestic maid, take a help of a maid to do a mundane activities so that you can invest your time on the well-being activities. Okay, so that's how I carve out my time. Okay, so, and I encourage all my family members to contribute for the well-being, to implement the well-being practices, because it has to be part and parcel of our lives. So this is one question to summarize it. Just manifest, close your eyes and think of, I mean, do you prefer to spend a day long in traveling, commuting to the hospital, waiting in the queue in front of doctor, and doctor spends only 5 minutes, and where you need to end up paying 2,000 rupees for the consultation? You come back and you pop up all those pills. It has all the negative effects, and you won't be energized. At the same time, you may be asked to perform high duty activities. So every time you are in a frustration, right? So instead, just slow down and think that implementing well-being practices is not a very big task. It is part of it. There's very small hacks that we need to implement. If we implement that, things will become a routine. It takes time, like maybe 2 to 3 weeks of time. So Prasad, if you have seen my morning breakfast, right? I won't be putting idli, dosa, upma, chapati and all 1 hour and all, right? For the breakfast. What I'm doing, 5 minutes time, previous night, I'm soaking all those and 5 minutes blending them in the mixed jar. So how much time I'm spending in the morning for the morning breakfast? It is only 15 minutes time. What is the outcome? It's that I get 40% of my nutrients by 9 o'clock. So I'm all charged up for the entire day. Right. So these are few introspective questions that if they can ask, I'm sure people would think of it and implement.
Thank you, ma'am, for some dimensions on how this can be tackled. let me lead it to the next question. In wellness and well-being, emotion is a big component. And while you have said a number of things which obviously contribute. I mean, food is an important contributor to that. Exercise is an important contributor to that. What else would you suggest? Because emotional wellness is also related to identity development. What your purpose is, what you can do best in life, how do you fructify those positive qualities that you have in your unique being to be the best person that you can of the type that you are. And for that, emotional well-being is extremely critical. And we find that while people are attempting to do something on fitness, the efforts on emotional well-being are not so much. And you'll have much more of this, which you see around, than the physical part of it. So how do you encourage people? What are the points that you have on the emotional well-being side towards developing towards fulfilling your life, what you have the strengths for?
So one, I would think when I've heard of your question, I think top three qualities anybody should have, right? Whether we are rich or poor or middle class, or whether we are Indians or other foreign country citizens, but there are three common things which any human being should have is empathetic behavior, right? So a person who carries the empathy, right, automatically he or she tries to understand from others' perspective, right? So that is the first quality a person should have. And second thing, a person always should be surrounded with like-minded people. You are what you are surrounded by five people, right? There is a saying, right? So always ensure that you are surrounded by like-minded people. Okay, so it is in your choice, right? Whom to select, whom not to select. And the third one is that stay away from all these bad habits of smoking, drinking, eating high processed foods, which ultimately affects the mood swings and also impacts your emotional well-being and relations. Rather, spend time in fun activities, spend time with elders, spend time with kids, and spend time in nature. So that elevates your adrenaline, and minimizes the cortisol levels, because of which you can you will be at ease. See, person who is frustrated because of so much of overwhelming tasks that he or she handles, and with too many people who he or she will be interacting with, right? So don't get overwhelmed so much. Think of it, plan your day in such a way that nothing need to be compared with every day with someone, but you compare yourself whether you're going to be a better version than before, right? So these are 3 pointers from my side: being empathetic, spending quality time with elders, kids, nature, and stay away from negative people and surround yourself with positive people, and stay away from all the bad habits, because that reflects in your mood swings.
Thank you, ma'am. Extremely relevant points. From here, let me lead you on to the next question. If you look at why youth, even elders today, apart from the work that they have, where you've got screen time, a lot of people have screen time today, not just in the IT sector. Guys like us also have screen time. When you go back, you notice people who are on another kind of screen, right? So the addiction to screens, I mean, perhaps to also make things convenient, is something which is taking out a lot of emotional energy, because there's a lot emotional energy invest in screen time also. Social media,
Yes.
what others are saying,
Yes.
etc. And this is affecting the youth more than the elders, because they've already passed a lot of time. Could you suggest some practical ways to self-regulate and maintain digital wellness?
There is a term called infobesity, right? Information obesity. There is a new term called infobesity. So I see people keep on scrolling the reels, and there is always an adrenaline rush that happens, that okay, what happens next, what is the next reel, and because of which there is a constant screen time, which nobody can deny the fact that 95% out of 100 people are spending more than 4 hours of screen. Even that is minimum. I'm saying 4 hours is minimum. There are people who are spending more than 10 hours as a screen time, right? So what I've seen is, I'll tell you one example, Prasad. When I was in a very reputed organization, work in a senior leadership role, I had one-on-one meeting with my reportee. So we both sat, and she got her laptop and I got my laptop. We were sitting next to each other. And then while we were discussing on what are the things in progress, what needs to be improved and all that stuff, I kept hearing some of the pings or the calls from the laptop. Then when I noticed on her system, there were Instagram open, there was WhatsApp web open, there was Facebook open, there was YouTube open, and there was our company portal's website also was open. And within half an hour, she received 4 calls and she tried to cut those calls. Then immediately I raised an alarm, and of course I took a consultation and all that. But so why I raised this example is that people were so much addicted, and it had impacted her career, of course. See, there were so many escalations because of which I had one-on-one call with her. A person who is working in this kind of atmosphere where so much of time is being spent, the only way I would say is the first most fundamental thing if a person has purpose, he or she is very clear in their ultimate goal and the purpose. For them, all these things, they won't miss them. They won't miss the social media thing, the posts and all that. If you ask me, I'm neither on Insta nor on Facebook because I don't have that much bandwidth. So too much comparison. Probably I may not advise them not to be on social media, not to be on Insta or Facebook. But if your purpose is beyond pain, that's when you will progress in your career. So one has to be very, very mindful and also very clear about the purpose. So automatically the prioritization and reprioritization of things will happen with them. And other thing is like every person should have a mentor, right? Whether it is they can pick and choose the mentor from the college days or the office level. And that's when they can have an open conversation and they can start reading some books, and they'll start enjoying the world outside the social media. If they are kids or teenagers, partly even the responsibility is on parents, because kids learn from parents. If parents are busy in social scrolling, even kids, and so we can't blame the kids, right? First, parents have to change. So that's my take on that. Purpose has to be stronger, and in order for the purpose to be stronger, that has to be inculcated either by the office management or by the parents if they are students. And so is other way to come out of it, is my plan.
Thank you, ma'am. I think, first let me clarify, is it info obesity or is it info opacity?
Obesity.
Obesity.
Obesity is fat, right?
Yeah.
Obesity. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the thing.
Because to some extent in this overloaded world, info opacity is also needed. You need to know how to ignore.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we call it as a digital detox. So these kind of sessions are surrounded with like-minded people. When people continue to hear the repercussions of this digital detox and the necessity to do a digital detox, not only a body detox, but digital detox. So that's a responsibility of individuals, but at the same time, the professors, the faculty, or the mentors, or the parents. So it's a collective effort. Absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am. We are at 4:52. I'll hand it back to Professor Rao and then see how the time goes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prasad. For the record, I want to mention that Dr. Prasad actually practices digital detox very well. He didn't tell me, but that's my observation. Live on screen, you can deny if what I'm saying is wrong. He purposefully, consciously switches his WhatsApp off. Whenever I send a message, I don't see it delivered to him. It delivers after some time whenever he wants. And one day I asked him,
Absolutely.
looks like your WhatsApp is off. If something is urgent, what would happen? No. If something is urgent, you would call me, right? So the phone is available for the calls. So that was a very interesting way of that was very interesting way of actually managing the notification noise. The notification noise is too much these days from various devices and various apps that we have been part of. So he practices himself. Someday when I grow up, I'll do that. Thank you, Dr. Prasad. Now I have a couple of questions, but I want to acknowledge the fact that we are joined by very senior executives today for this session. Some of them are actually doctors, medical doctors have joined. Some of them are educators, some of them are technology leaders, some of them are from media and chartered accountancy, so on and so forth. They joined from Bangalore, Hyderabad, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan. So this is all, of course, I think in North in Gurgaon and all. So I welcome all of them for this conversation. I hope it's been going on so far very well for them. I will take just two questions, not more, and I'll open the mic for the audience to ask you directly about some of the doubts that they may have still after listening to you, after listening to these responses also. Ma'am, the first question that I have is in various ITS corporations, basically large number of people are employed. You have your canteens, and you mentioned that one of the problems that you have had was due to eating canteen food. But in large
Yes.
corporations like that, who decides the menu? What kind of food is available there? And don't you think a nutritious food or healthy food is supposed to be part of your menu there? How these things can be done? Are there any suggestions that have gone back? Did you give any 360-degree feedback to those organizations which have fed you wrongly and led you to this kind of a problem? Of
No.
course, you have discovered that problem, therefore, this benefit of this discussion. But in the first place, I think the advice should go to them also. Who decides these menus and is it not that healthy?
No, but so I just wanted to rephrase this. The organization where I was having cafeteria, it's a joint organization, right? I don't want to point a finger on that organization, but rather my body had not adopted that oil, I would say, because right from my childhood or I'm surrounded the times and all that. So my body had not adopted all of a sudden for such a long 1.5 years having in the cafeteria food, because that has a mix of salads, that has mix of protein like chicken or fish and all the healthy vegetables. So the oil they have used might not have suited. Otherwise, everybody in the organization should have got urticaria or inflammation, right? So that is called bio-individuality. That's when there is a biofeedback that we need to focus on. What is my body telling? All right. And it need not have to be the same kind of sign, by having the food. So just to answer to your question, see, the coconut oil or this olive oil best suited my body. They must have been using different oils. That organization has a food committee, right? They have food committee meetings every day. In fact, I was part of that food committee as well, right? So the menu is decided by the food committee, and being me as part of the food committee, if I have got the information, the onus is on me. But otherwise, definitely, this is a feedback. I mean, in case any organization, say your employees are your true assets. So please don't play with their health. But at the same time, my sincere suggestion to employees is that is it not possible for you to carry your homemade food? Can't you get up 1 hour early and cook your food and take your food to your organization? Why to have it in the cafeteria? In the can't, but you can have it. But otherwise, cooking has become an essential skill. So get up early and then cook and take it along with you. That's the best suggestion I would have.
Great. Thank you very much, ma'am, for that response. So we have to take responsibility for ourselves.
Ourselves.
Individuality is something which
Individual.
you're working on. You need
Yes.
to figure out yourself, what suits you, what does not.
Yes.
Micro customization may not be possible in larger organizations and their
Yes.
teams. Therefore, we need to be alert about what's working for us and what's not working for us, and then design what is going to be
Yes.
beneficial for you in the long run. The second question that I have, ma'am, is there is a lot of conflict in the information overload that we have in terms of health preparedness, in terms of these biohacks, in terms of what to consume and what not to consume. Looks like a science, but suddenly it looks like it has to be understood in a very different way. For example, there are doctors and there are functional doctors and there are quacks, and there is everybody these days on YouTube who is talking about, some people say you should have coffee and some people say coffee is not good for health. So when you have these kind of conflicting information overdose that you are subjected to, how do we choose where to go and what situation? So that's a very important help if you can
Yes.
advise some of these busy executives around the screen.
Yes. Definitely. So, as I mentioned, infobesity, information is everywhere. So, authentic sources of information is very, very important. So, luckily, I have some of the couple of slides which I prepared, which has this websites which are very authentic, which I figured out. I found it very authentic and I follow them. And any experiment that I want to make it or anything new I want to try on my body, first I'll observe the scientific reason behind it through these websites. So one is Harvard Health. Anybody can enroll to this so that you will keep getting some newsletters and all. And also they've given nice choice of your preferred topics, right? So you can click on this accordingly. You will be getting those nuggets or the newsletter. And next one more thing is our National Institute of Nutrition. Not sure how many of you have gone through, but this is something which I find it interesting. They have the video tutorials for all these because nutrition is democratic, right? Like it's not confined only to doctors or nutritionists and all. We have to take care of, we have to own our bodies, our true well-being. So these are something because all of us have studied biology in our school and college days. So why not refresh all those things in our by going through this? So it has video content and also it has read material and all. So I would highly encourage folks to go through this and at least spend some 10 to 15 minutes time every day so that over a period of time you will become the master of your own body and soul.
Excellent. Right, ma'am. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Very many questions I have, but one very important question I will ask and then open the mic for others to actually follow. This question we received from one of the participants, and it's very interesting. The question is, how can corporate or community initiatives promote zero waste practices and sanitation awareness, especially in urban households? This establishes a very interconnectedness between individual health behaviors and, of course, the community level waste management practices. So the person who raised this question wanted you to discuss the interplay between these two. That is the health behavior, individual health behavior vis-a-vis the community level waste management practices which promote sustainable and pragmatic well-being, or otherwise, in case their behaviors are not okay.
So if I've understood the question right, when they say waste material, is it that the wet waste and dry waste that we throw in our dustbins and then how do we recycle, right? Okay, so let me share the practice that we as a family, we do it, right? I mean, most of us are using that two different dustbins, right? One is for dry waste and wet waste. The wet waste is something which we vermicompost in the pots where we make the holes and make it 5 to 10 minutes extra effort, of course. And we use that as a manure to our plants. We have a small garden and all. But otherwise, also we can do this mindfully and give it to the folks who are in the nursery. Right near to our houses. So that's one way we can very well be very disciplined in managing the waste. So dry waste anyway, we nothing much can be done. It will be given to the person who comes and collects the waste. But wet waste is something which we can always recycle by vermicomposting. You'll get vermicompost kits, or we ourselves also can make vermicompost kits with our plastic buckets with the holes made and all that. So that way, I think we can manage it. And awareness sessions have to be conducted at the community level as and when the large gatherings happen, or conscious effort to be made to invite everybody to discuss on this, because it is very important. Otherwise, there are a lot of, it may prone to a lot of other diseases, right? Because of the cockroaches or various other creatures that gets tremendously increased and then cause food pollution.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that insight. I'll request now Mr. Chainulu to raise his question. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Dr.
Very
Sudhakar
good
Rao,
evening.
sir. And good evening, Dr. Prasad, sir. Pragmatic well-being preventive healthcare. It's a good this one session to know about all these things, and you have given dress, diet, relations, exercise, sleep, stress. These
Yeah,
5 items is very really it is cost nothing in the world of everything is related to the cost. See, all these things are nothing to cost. And for giving this, I am very thankful. And personally, I am a diabetic and a heart patient for the last 37 and 20 years. Doctors, whenever I go to the doctor, regularly I visit to the doctor. Doctors say how the diabetic has come to you and how the heart has have your problem. And they decide it is a family background. Yeah.
Okay.
And they always tell me to go to the dietitian and get the same what they repeat very at my regular visitings. And it is really great thing that you have given a very good idea to maintain all these things. And it is very difficult to have the habits under this dress. You need time. Time management is most important.
Yes. Yes.
And then one more thing, diet. To have a good diet, you have already told. It is in Telugu, actually, it is very difficult to choose that diet every day. We will be bored with that. But in one poem, it has told that Anaga Nanagaraga Atisayundu, Tenaga Tenaga Vema Tiyaganundu. That is the poem has been given by our good olden people.
Yeah.
And but as far as the things has to be controlled, my sincere this one, I have habituated to control my mindset. My mindset I have controlled in such a way that whatever I have to do to the physical body or to anything in the institutions or outside, stress or any feelings, I control my mind. Not only my mind is controlled by only my this one regular habits and praying the God, but I pray the God regularly that whatever you give it to me, but you give it to that extent to bear it the same thing. Stress, you give it maximum stress, but let me bear it. You give that strength also to me. Even for diet and other things, you just give me the control to have it.
Right.
And this well-being habits is very difficult to have it because nowadays the corporate world and the high society people, they have the regular parties.
Yep, I know.
And there, if you choose a lemon water, they look at my face. Why? I said that I don't like it, the other things. Maybe it is my habit. It is my habit to have a lemon water.
Absolutely. You should be proud of it. You should be proud of it. Behind the back, they are jealous of you. Yes.
No, whatever it may be. But they say that you taste it, this one.
Ignore. Just ignore. Ignore.
No.
Ignore.
I have
See,
never
just
told.
have
My mind is not accepting this at this time. Maybe I may take it after certain years. I am aged 69. So I have to say that, yes, maybe at 70 or 75 or at 80, I may take it. Today, I don't want to take it. I avoid like that.
I mean, even at that time also should not. Poison is poison.
No.
Okay,
That is
poison
the
poison.
see
If someone tries to glorify it, also no way. Not even at 80s. There are so many better things. So you were mentioning about the diet, right? So it's an interesting thing. Even for a diabetic or anybody with any of the health ailments, they can have their own diet chart for that entire week and have those ingredients ready. Right.
No.
So just
I
for
don't.
the audience purpose. Yeah.
I don't want to hurt them. I just wanted to avoid them.
No, but if you drink or if you smoke, you'll be hurting your body
No,
and
no,
your
no, no,
soul.
no way, no
Right?
way. My mind has been
Yeah,
controlled.
no, we should be selfish about.
See,
See, once I heard someone saying, I think in the book or in a movie, I don't remember, our body is like a temple, and we need to be mindful of what we are eating.
no, no. One thing,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm interpreting you. I have given a oath. First of all, to my parents, then to my wife. I don't drink. I don't take any non-veg or anything. Non-veg may be taken, So I don't do this. So when I have given a oath to them, promise to them, I have to fulfill it throughout my life. So let it be stress in the office, stress in the house. That stress I can manage with the strength given by my God.
Yes. Yeah.
By
Be like that. When there is a will, there is a way.
There is a way.
Need not have to be carried away with others, how they are doing. Poison is poison. How beautifully they are put in a glass and all. Please, no way, zero, no
Zero.
way,
And
no
one more
discussion.
thing,
Yeah.
when I was working in a government organization, PSU, they have asked, they wanted some thing has to be, quotation has to be written on the hospital at the time of opening by the chief minister. Everybody has given lot of things and other things. I have given a phrase, doctor treats, God saves. And that was written on the wall even today.
Very
So
good.
when
Thank
you go, when,
Thank you so much, sir. Do you have a question?
question is that
I will ask
my
you a question, sir.
no, my question is that only I am coming to the question that preventive health care requires what you can awareness to the public. See, this platform is limited to the for certain persons only, but it has to bring it to the awareness to the entire country. How to get this awareness to and pass it on to the each individual at the low level to the higher level. This is my question.
How to scale up?
See, that should come from within. First thing is that should come from within, that I am selfish about my well-being. If the health is in our hands, right? If we are at the hospital, no corporate manager will come and do service for you. All right. You work for 18 hours for that office or a corporate, but they won't come and even see you. All right. So you need to be extremely selfish about your health. And there is something like when you cannot measure, you cannot manage. So awareness of bio-individuality, awareness of human anatomy, awareness of the metrics like how many calories I have to take, how much should be my weight, all those tracking of all those things is important. So set the stage first. And then there is a daily routine that we need to get habituated. It may take 1 month, 2 months, but that discipline will be long lasting and you will be the ultimate happiest person, by experiencing all the happy and healthy moments.
No, one thing, ma'am, Corona has brought a lot of things in the world. Corona has changed the habits of the people. Likewise, my simple question that every company and institutions, if they have a seminar or a meetings, say a boss has got a meeting, he can call it his employees and have 5 minutes chat on this, because you are well known to the public, well known leader on this habit. So if your webinars and other things goes to the public, will it not be helpful to them?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. More and more awareness. So you see, I follow 3 people on wellness. So if you can, I always encourage others also to follow. One is Dr. Paul, is Palaniappan Manik Palaniappan. And then there's Dr. Vinila. She is from Hyderabad. And then there is one more person. It's a very lengthy name, but I follow him as well on LinkedIn. And websites, what I told, right? That Harvard Health, the the Harvard Health website and also our National Institute of Nutrition. So these are some things, everybody cannot be spoon fed, right? There is some effort that they have to also put from their side. And if there are any queries on their way, definitely people around them should clarify and if they reach out. But
It is not.
as a person, as a manager, I usually conduct all these health and wellness sessions in our corporates and also
Thank you.
outside. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
ma'am,
Thank
for
you.
this. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Ma'am, there is another question that we have. We are about to close actually. We have much
Yeah.
stipulated time. The question
No
is,
problem.
can you explain how meditation can impact physical fitness? This is keyed in by one of the participants.
Okay. So there are two ways I look at meditation, right? This is my definition of meditation or my perspective of meditation. There's one type of meditation is where they allocate some half an hour time or 20 minutes time in the morning hours. They close their eyes and they do the meditation. That's one. Second is that you get immersed in your work to an extent that no other external factors would disturb you. That means you're totally in the meditation mode in your work, right? So both the types of meditations work out well if a person is very conscious about their well-being. First thing is, right? So when you are at your meditation, right, there is a sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems we have in our body. Sympathetic nervous system is something where it's like, when we are in a very aggressive mode or tensed mode, when all in a very overwhelming mode. Whereas parasympathetic nervous system is something where we are at ease, we are calm when we do prayers or just before going to bed. So that's a parasympathetic nervous system, right? So in the world, which is so much of where there's so much of chaos, it's always important for us to bring our sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic nervous system for us to improve our productivity, right? So the meditation techniques or the walking, all these things are the boosters to switch from sympathetic to parasympathetic nervous system, because of which there is a hormonal imbalance which otherwise would be there. It gets balanced, and once the hormonal balance happens, then everything in the body gets worked out. I mean, everything in the body becomes finer and to perform the internal organs activities to the greatest level, to the fullest level, right? For example, if I'm not in a parasympathetic nervous system, my insulin will not be functional as much it is supposed to be, right? It might lead to diabetes. So I need to be very friendly with my internal organs and my hormones. For that, I need to develop. It's my responsibility to develop parasympathetic nerve, to be in the state of parasympathetic nervous system. So that's where meditation helps. Hope I have answered.
Amazing. Thank you very much, ma'am. I think it's a very good answer. We are at 5:17 and we would love to close this with your permission, ma'am. There are lots of questions, but I think they will keep in touch with you. We will also write to you subsequently by collecting all the questions in case there are.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Yeah. They can connect me on LinkedIn for any queries. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a very important topic, and there are no two things about it. The several takeaways that you have mentioned today as part of your presentation. Out of that, the few which are very, very strong and striking are, the physical well-being and mental well-being or emotional well-being. Both are equally important. And I think based on some of the practices that we do, there is a derivative impact. The kind of foods we eat, the kind of people that we surround with, the kind of practices that we embark on will result in certain other behaviors. Therefore, it is important that we fix a few of them which we can,
Yes.
and try and see we invariably we can look at the other things, minimizing those variables as we move forward. Second and most important thing is that a behavior of empathy that we display in various webinars on WiseViews platform that we have seen coming from variety of leaders here is that empathy is a very, very important factor, whether it is in business or in real life outside business. it is going to be very, very helpful. And we come across as someone who has understood the other person or the customer very well. And then accordingly, behavior will be dovetailed as per the requirements of the person. So
Yeah, you're
third
spot
and the
on.
most important takeaway is we need to have mentors in organizations so that they help us settle some of these queries and all. In the absence of mentorship, a lot of us are rudderless, and irrespective of the level at which we operate, we always need it. And I think those organizations which have these enabling systems, I believe they have better to those who do not. Uh, the exercise part you mentioned is very important. You have not talked about the games. Which game do you play, ma'am? You don't have to answer that. I'm just saying that.
No, I go for dance fitness. So I don't play as such like the tennis or shuttle and all. I go for swimming, and I mean I used to go for swimming, but majority of time it's dance fitness.
Yes, apart from the dance, apart from the exercise, apart from mentorship, I think we also need to have in organizations, because a large part of our daytime is spent in organizations. And after we go home, also we are logged on to some of the systems related to our office, employee, all those things. So largely we live in there. And when we do that, I think we need to also understand what kind of cultural template that we are building in our organization. What culture is it a culture that is empathetic to others? Is it a culture that can listen to others, stand by? Suppose one of your colleagues is not well, do you bother to actually call or visit that person? I think it should be a culture. The leader will decide
Should
that,
be a
and
culture.
others will follow,
Yes.
it percolates down. And what kind of bonding you have developed as part of your organization? Do you have outbound activities? Do you have get-togethers? Do you have culturals, so that the
Yes.
bonding improves? Once the bonding is improving, then I think you will be more forgiving between two work groups
Yeah.
within the same organization. In case there are any errors, I think we'll be more forthcoming to resolve those rather than
Yes.
go to the road. So
Right.
the the battlefield kind of scenario can be avoided by making it a home once the cultural template is appropriately designed. These are all the important factors that define our physical and emotional well-being. Thank you so much for uh, plugging in this very important topic. Otherwise, we would have talked about cloud technologies, AI,
Yeah.
and ML also. That was an
Uh-huh.
option that you have given us.
Yeah.
We thought that this is going to be very important for all our members who regularly join us. We have reached 191. As you said, like-minded people join, and people who have a keenness to learn, lifelong learning and learning always, they join. And I'm sure we are hitting the 200 mark. So all of us stand to, I mean, we deserve such sessions. And I'm very
Yes.
happy that you have volunteered to do this kind of session for us. I'm extremely thankful to you on behalf of everyone. Dr. Prasad actually jumped at that topic once you gave that option. He was quite keen that this kind of
Yes.
session is required for us. I'm sure more and more sessions like this we will look forward to. We have doctors who have spoken here. We have health experts speaking here. We have economists speaking here, sports persons speaking here, civil society members, of course, technologists, entrepreneurs, and general leaders. Everyone has spoken here. So I think an all-round development and all-round learning and interactivity is what we foster on WiseViews. Thanks to leaders like you who have helped us host some of these sessions, ma'am.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So always I believe in one thing, whether we are a parent or a mentor or a leader, it's one thing which is common. Connect before you correct. Why would other person hear you unless you establish that connection first? And then automatically the correction, if at all it is required, it will be easy. They'll listen to you, and things will be all
Absolutely.
great.
Ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Prasad, for raising some of the thought-provoking questions and making this conversation very, very interesting as usual. I want to thank all the members who have participated and keyed in their questions to structure the landscape of conversation on the 191st Wise Views Leadership Conversation this evening. See you next week on 25th of April with another leader, and we are going to learn, as I promise, every week we have these learning capsules coming up for us. Very easy to learn, and it will last long for us, hopefully. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend and a good night.